What's going on, awesome people? My name is Iman Hushman, and welcome to the Awesome People IG Live series. It's a pleasure to have you here tonight, especially it's the first time you're dropping in and you're wondering what is Awesome People. Well, I have an IG Live series and I have a podcast called Awesome People. And in short, I like to interview some of the most awesome Persians that I know. They could be entrepreneurs, they can be artists, they can be creators, they can be really high profile. Either way, they're just people that I believe are doing some special things in their line of work. And my guest tonight is no different, and I will get to him in a second. But for those of you who don't know about the overarching umbrella that's above Awesome People, it's called Unite and Conquer. And at Unite and Conquer, our mission is to unite English-speaking Persians through impactful conversations and through events, whether it's online events or in-person events. And speaking of in-person events, just this past weekend in Miami, we hosted Bahçe, where essentially we united modern-day Persian entrepreneurs of the Miami area. And my goodness gracious, it was an amazing time. Great food, great drinks, great vibe, great music. Shout out to DJ Kia and DJ Sepide and Sibone on the violin. If you were at Bahçe this past Saturday, please drop a little comment. I see over here, I think there's money right there. And I see Behi. Thank you so much. They actually were both at the event. But if you were there and you had a great time, let us know. Either way, I appreciate you guys being here. And let me just go ahead and go straight to my guest this evening. And he is none other than the creator of a very funny, entertaining Instagram page called Persian Memes Official. I've been laughing along to it for a couple of years. And I think that you all know he actually created it in 2014, but I'll let him give a little backstory. Nawid has been the creator of, the Persian memes page, but he's been in the digital marketing and advertising industry for about 10 years. So he's got a lot of experience in that. And I want to talk to him about his personal journey, his professional journey, and just what he plans to do with this IG page that he's now amassed to almost 200,000 followers. That's no joke, ladies and gentlemen. That's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of hard work to bring us all together. So I'm very grateful for the work that he has done behind the scenes. This is actually his first IG Live. He's not the type of person that is looking out for attention. He just wants to bring people together through humor, and that's why I love this man. And I can't wait to get to know him even more. I've got to know him very virtually for the last couple of years. In the meantime, Behijan and Manya, thank you so much for the great comment. Hamid, thank you again. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. The Miami Persians are in for a great treat. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Nawid all the way from Amsterdam. It's midnight over there. He's got a young little kid. And so I appreciate the sacrifice he's making to be a part of tonight. Navidjan, چطوری مرد؟
خوبم مرسی تو خوبی ایمان.
خیلی ممنون. I have to say officially صبح بخیر to you because it's 12:03 a.m. So thank you so much for staying up.
Of course, my pleasure, of course. For you, anything.
Good to have you here from the beautiful city of Amsterdam, man. It's one of my favorite cities. There's so much character. There's so much personality. There's so much beauty. For those who don't know anything about Nawid Farhadi, why don't you give him a little personal background, and then we'll transition into profession. Share your immigrant story, if you may.
All right. So I'm Nawid Farhadi. I was born in Shiraz. My parents were born in the south. So my mom's from Abadan, actually, and my father, he was born in Bandar Mashar. We moved to the Netherlands in 1988. And I grew up in a town called Zwolle. Might not mean a lot or say a lot to anybody, except if you're from the Netherlands, of course. But no, it was a relatively small town. And like I said, we came here in '88. My parents initially planned to go to Canada, but they kind of, they changed route and they stayed here. And yeah, basically had a pretty normal upbringing in that sense. Yeah, like you mentioned already, I studied media and advertising, so I, naturally flowed into that profession. Became a project manager, and in 2013 that's when things started bubbling in my head. But that's that's part of the meme page story. Maybe maybe we can elaborate a little bit.
No, that's great. So first of all, I feel like there's a lot of people here representing Zwolle, so they definitely know it. They're commenting on here, so it might be a much bigger city than you know. So shout out to everybody in Zwolle. If you're in the Netherlands, drop a comment. What an incredible country, awesome people, and it's great to know the Persians are representing here. So Nawid, what was the what was the catalyst of you coming up with like a meme page? I mean, the word meme, I feel like it didn't even originate until like 3-4 years ago, maybe. So,
Hmm.
so when you were first starting it, which I believe it was 2014, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Which when you think about it, was pretty much like the beginning of Instagram as a whole, you know? So you were like right at the very beginning of Instagram. What was it? What triggered it?
So there were two things that kind of came together. There was one on the one hand side, the offering of Persian comedy coming from a family where, at night our family we used to get together like on the weekends with like my uncles and stuff. There was a lot of comedy was a big thing in our family. And so when I moved out by myself, and I think it was 2012, that's when I kind of was like, I'm kind of missing that feeling, and I just wanted to bring that happiness to people on the one hand side. And I also thought that the offering was just, to be very honest with you, I thought I could do better than the offering that was out there at the time. And so I just started making memes. And, snowball effect. It took me definitely a good few years to get to, like the thousands. But that combined with my little brother, he was like, yeah, we got to do something. And at the time, things were starting, right? Like you said, Instagram was kind of starting. What do you call it? Influencers were kind of starting. And he was like, yeah, we need to become YouTube influencers. Like, we need to do something. We need to do something. And I was just like, man, I don't know. I'm not the type to be on the forefront all the time and stuff. And then this somehow just, I don't know. I was just one day I was like, okay, I'm going to start a memes page and just see how it goes. And
Yeah.
8 years later and a lot of life events later, and I'm still posting memes every day. So no,
What
it's
what
been a
what
lot of fun.
what percentage of like your content, because it seemed like you started off in creating memes, or was it like, what do you consider creating memes, like as in your own creative work, and then versus sharing a lot? Because you do a lot of both, I believe. So like, what percentage
Yeah.
was it in the get-go? What is it right now? Because it's a lot. I always wonder, I'm like, who comes up with this stuff, you know? So like, like, how, is it like a comedian that just writes jokes, but it's more just visual? Kind of take us to the comedic journey, if you may.
Yeah, so in the beginning, yeah, I did definitely from the beginning. I think the percentage was about, well, I would say 100 to 0. So 100%
Wow.
of the memes I made myself, and then um, I wouldn't get any from anybody, right? And at the time, the conversion on Instagram was a lot different. So different things in the algorithm had different effects. So it was much easier to amass a lot more conversion at the time than it is now, I think. And so um, just playing into classic stereotypical Persian jokes, if you will, combined with stuff that was contemporary at the time, combining those and then coming up with obviously with the imagery and then coming up with the funny caption, right?
I think we lost you there for a second, Navijan. Are you still there? You gotta love live IG lives. All right, I think we lost him for a second. Did you all lose him individually, or did we? Yeah, it wasn't just me. It wasn't me, right? It was him. Okay. Well, anyways, while Navid is coming back on, which I'm sure he will. Let me just check here. Request to join. Navijan, don't worry about it. Just come right back in. In the meantime, I appreciate you guys joining in. If you're joining in late, I'm having a great conversation with. Don't worry, he's coming back. With Navid. Let me just make sure that he's just come back. Okay. Looks like Netherlands does have some issues, as perfect as it may be. Uh, TikTok, all right, she's like, Russia must have hacked him. Bad. Hold on, let's see if we can get him come in. But anyways, if you're joining in a little bit late, we're having a nice conversation with Nawid Farhadi. He's a creator of Persian Memes Official. If you don't know that page, make sure you follow it for some good laughs. Yeah, Nawid is coming back. It's all good. Yeah, but first of all, it's so great to see so much great energy from Persian, especially in the Netherlands area. Nawid definitely has some love. All right, here we go. All right. This is what happens when you're on live TV, guys. Thank you for your patience.
Apologies there. I don't know. I was connected to Wi-Fi, but I don't know what happened.
No,
Just,
no,
just
no
cut out.
problem. You know what? This is why sometimes actually using regular data is better than even Wi-Fi. But you would think that Wi-Fi is a better one. So yeah. So here's my question: were you like ever a comedian? Did you ever like have you ever been on stage, or were you just this guy who's funny, who wants to be just funny in his own element? And IG was giving you this creative outlet where you could be funny, but still not have to be on stage and be like the face front type of individual.
I think the second. I think I definitely grew up with, like I said, comedy and jokes, just cracking jokes in general, like Iranian jokes, obviously, was something that we always did. So it was always something that was big in my life. And at one point, I definitely, after I finished my study, I had these moments where I was like, man, maybe I should just throw this all overboard and just do what I want to do. And that was comedy. I used to like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. Obviously, those guys are like absolute
Legend.
heroes of mine. Yeah, legends. And so I love that. But I don't think that I kind of knew that my personality didn't match somebody to be on stage. And even though I'm much more comfortable right now, but at the time I was like, yeah, maybe not. And then I think Instagram was just, yeah, it was easier, yeah, in that sense to just do it like that.
Let me ask you something. So it seems like, especially because you were starting in 2014 and the way the algorithm was working is kind of like TikTok now, where it's got like first mover's advantage. You kind of get a head start on gaining popularity. When you realize that, oh shit, I actually have a legitimate community here of people that are interested in what I'm creating and whatever. Tell me about how that felt, having all these countrymen and women around the world, especially because it wasn't just limited to your neighborhood or the country. You were getting Persians from all over the world because your content was very driven towards probably more Persians outside of Iran, I would assume,
Yeah.
you know? And so how was it kind of like having that community being built around you? Tell us about what was going on through your head at the time.
Yeah, I think it happened pretty rapidly when I saw the rate at which it was growing, and I think that was around 2016, 17 when I thought, okay, well, this is if nothing weird happens, like I don't know, maybe my page just gets completely deleted or something or hacked or whatever. I definitely have a quite a big community, like you said, and also because it's quite niche, that grew pretty quickly. And I mean, how it felt, I don't think I ever changed in the sense of my intentions for the page. So, just bringing laughter, making sure we don't take each other and ourselves too seriously. I think that's the main thing. Yeah, that kind of has stayed the same. It never really changed. It's just
What
always was
what
the
what
same.
about what about the fact that a lot of people they laugh at it, and you could every time there's some like funny thing, no matter the nationality, you're gonna get always that 10% of people that are gonna find a way to be offended or be negative about it or whatever. How have you been able to kind of combat the people who are just there to just kind of be a buzzkill, if you may, because I don't consider your
Yeah.
content as super offensive. Like you have to have some really thin skin, excuse me, to be like offended by some of these memes, which are obviously like a joke page. But that's a lot of hate that probably comes towards your way. So tell me a little bit about how you've like dealt with that kind of stuff. Do you just block people? Do you respond people? Do you accept it as it is? How do you not let it like affect you, or has it affected you? And how have you been able to kind of, go through those things?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think in general, I've always responded to everybody. So is nobody that can say I've never read their DM or responded to them. I've always responded to everybody, and I try to really stay. If we have opposing views or anything in the DM section, I'll get into the discussion. Maybe not so much anymore now because I have a family and I have other priorities, but I would. And previously, I used to always use sarcasm as a means to combat or like debunk the negativity, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, but lately, I just don't even respond to it anymore, and I just leave it because I think like I said, we shouldn't take each other that seriously because the more you take yourself too seriously, the more you get prone to becoming offended, right? So then
Right.
it just is this negative cycle in a way, and that's quite the opposite that I want to achieve. So I try to stay away from that, and I try to just bring the positivity as it, if you will, So
Yeah. So now you've been able to, amass almost 170, 80,000 people on your page. What is your goal with the page? Like, where do you see it going? Are you making any type, do you look at it as like a business and you're like, okay, this is what my 1 year plan is and I'm going to be doing this and that. How have you been approaching the IG page? Or is it just like a fun thing and it's great that people are following it and I'm going to continue doing this and I don't want to overthink it? What's your mindset about the page?
I think that last thing definitely, for the majority. So keep it the same. So don't change, because I know from viewing longer term projects and stuff myself, you don't want them to change, right? So that's always the thing. When you join a page or something, once it changes or becomes too commercial, whatever, you kind of lose interest a little bit, if you will. But for me, I definitely do get a lot of requests lately of, small Iranian businesses to help them out with getting the word out or whatever it might be. And I think that's definitely one of the things that I do stand for, like helping people out. So whether it's small business owners or, bigger brands, I'm always down to help. And so that is something that I do want to keep doing, and maybe even more. But I do definitely think that keeping it in a way of not becoming too intrusive to people, like not becoming too much in your face, and not too much pushy, if you will.
You don't want to change the entire personality and
No,
character, but you're open to kind of figuring out how to, grow it and just make it more valuable to the community where
yeah,
everybody wins essentially. So before I
exactly.
continue to kind of like piggyback on this topic, if any of Navid's or Persian Memes officials fans have any questions that you want me to ask, drop it in the comment. I'll be sure to read it and try to say it out loud. So if you have a question, feel free to if you have any kind of feedback, if you have any suggestions, because really what me and Navid are trying to do also behind the scenes is figure out how to unite and conquer. Is figure out how Navid can win, how Persian Memes official can win, and how all of you that are watching can win, which is what? Creating better content, creating better experiences, wanting you to share the page with a lot of people, getting business owners to come and support the page because they're able to reach the target audience, which is Persians like you guys. So whatever kind of feedback you're able to give to Navid or to myself, it's just going to give more ideas for us to collaborate. And so Navid, like here's my question: if 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 you were able to work full time on Persian Memes official, would you do it? If like the money was right and like it's all of a sudden now a legitimate business and you have a couple of employees, would you like to kind of have that direction go?
I think so. I think so. Yeah, I would definitely be open to it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it's like it's an objective that I've always stood for, and I think that's beautiful in a sense. And you know, I think it's, yeah, definitely working for myself as well in that sense, but also serving the community. I find that pretty important. So yeah, no, definitely that would be a
Do,
definite
do,
yes.
do, do you think that you would be having this kind of page if you were living or being raised in Iran? Or do you think that one of the reasons why you kind of had this be created was because you were raised outside of it and you wanted to have the sense of belonging and something was missing, and so you took matters into your own hands?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Uh,
Definitely. Yeah, that last thing, because
yeah.
yeah, I just felt like I said, it wasn't there wasn't anything out there that served it as well, because at the time there was only one page, and I don't even think that exists anymore. But yeah, it was very limited, and it didn't really appeal to us as young kids growing up abroad, but still being brought up with Persian values. And I think that's also very important to us.
All right. Well, this is great because everything you're saying, it means that everybody who's one of your supporters or listeners, they should feel very comfortable providing feedback on what they would want more of, because that's you basically everybody is a customer and you want to take care of the customer. The beauty is that the customers are people. Our people, our community, and we're able to go do some amazing things together. And one of your friends just wanted to know, Perspolis or Esteghlal?
Oh, uh,
I don't
uh,
want to. I don't want to divide your people, but
I'll stay very political here, because I don't follow Iranian football, to be very frank with you. Like not the National League.
Yeah.
I'm more into the Dutch league, but that's
بگو فقط تیم ملی. Just say that.
Team League. Yeah, that's what I stand for. Yeah, for sure.
All right, but in the meantime, if there are any Persepolis or Istiklal fans, go ahead and just mark your territory on the chat right now and say it. I actually don't follow it myself either, but I definitely cannot wait for the World Cup in November, and so proud
Oh
of
yeah.
our fellow Iranians that every 4 years they make us so incredibly proud. It's such a, just speaking of what we're doing, the community, like that's when really the whole community of Persians, whether you're inside of Iran or outside, you're bond together and you're glued to that TV, and it's like Super Bowl Sunday times 100, so it's great. Well, so ladies and gentlemen, if you are a huge fan of Persian Memes Official, first of all, show Navid some love, please. This man has put an incredible amount of time, effort, stress, hard work, love, creativity, everything you could possibly think, passion, pride, Persianality, all mix it up for 10 years to be where it is here. So show him some love, and please give him some feedback on what he can do, what we can do to continue to see pages, not just like yours grow, Navid, but like we want to encourage other creators to create more people. I see Shada Rap. I know she's one of the artists that I follow as well. Man, if you are Persian, be proud of it. Represent whatever genre that you're in. If you're a singer, if you're a poet, if you're a rapper, if you're an artist, we want to make sure that we continue to support each other. There is a shortage of English speaking Persians that really have each other's back. And that's why, Navid, I wanted you to be here, because I want other people to see the man behind the page, because once you see that person, once you see and realize, oh shit, I didn't even think about the fact that even an IG page has to do with our culture and has to do with the sense of belonging or the lack of community, And so see, like one feedback that we have, which a lot of people are having in general, I think Samo Daber, consider Discord community. I know Discord is definitely picking up in the younger generation. I mean, we got to be on top of the trends, And so, creating, like me and Navid were actually talking about, we need to get all the other Persian creators together, create like a WhatsApp group, a freaking Facebook group, a Discord group, and like just kind of like brainstorm, strategize, mobilize. So that's the game plan. But Navid, what else do you want to share with the community? What else are you passionate about? Tell us how fatherhood is. You just had your first little one less than a month ago or so, 2 months ago, right? When has it been?
No. She's actually she actually turned a year and a month. A year and a month
I'm so
now.
sorry. You're right. Damn, time flies. But tell us about fatherhood.
Our father is beautiful. I can't put it any other way. I mean, yeah, it's nothing but beautiful. It's been a whirlwind, I must admit, because the last year and a half, I moved a bunch of times. My father sadly passed away, so that put my fatherhood, also in a different light. So it made it that much more special. So I think, yeah, I enjoy every minute of it, and and I think thanks to COVID, in that sense, I was very happy to be able to be home and to be with her all the time.
I love
So
her.
that's yeah, she's a feisty little girl, but I love her to death. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear, man. Enjoy every moment of that. Well, yeah, Navid, I mean, I think that our path is pretty clear, man. I think that people really want to see this page grow, and I've already made a commitment behind scenes to you that we're gonna figure out how to collaborate. We're gonna make sure that any individual brand or business that has a product or a service that they want to promote on the Persian Memes page, and we're not gonna make it super, intrusive. It's gonna be done with the look and feel of Persian Meme Official. But everybody who's watching, if you have a business, if you're a Persian entrepreneur, business owner, professional, if you're selling a product or a service, or you're trying to grow your brand, reach out to Navid, support him and he'll support you back. What's amazing about Navid, and I know because I went through this process, I messaged him, I told him I have an event. He responded within minutes. He was more than happy to support it. He shared it with his large community. And here we are, there's no loss in just reaching out to Navid and sharing ideas that you have on, hey, you know what? Actually, I do have something that your demographic would benefit from. So speaking of which, Navid, explain to the viewers a little bit more about the demographic. Where are they located? What are the age ranges? What, more male, more female? Like in general terms, you don't have to give specifics,
Yeah. So it's definitely the Iranian diaspora. So definitely mostly abroad. So Yeah, you could categorize it in the biggest countries where we reside, outside of Iran, of course, which is the States, Canada, Germany, UK. Those are the biggest groups, if you will. Obviously, there's also a big group, which I kind of did not really expect, but there's still a big group in Iran following the page, which I really appreciate as well. And it's mostly 24 to 44. That's the biggest target group.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like 55% female, and I think in the 40s, obviously the male target audience. So that's basically general the target audience in a sense. But
Right.
I must say though that the reach lately has been almost triple the amount of followers. So I reach almost 3 times the amount of followers that I have outside of the page. So I don't really know the demographic of those people, but that's about 66% of the entire followers
That's
base.
incredible. That's like 500,000 people, you know. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
trying to reach Persians, especially that age group, this is the opportunity, you know. And so
Yeah.
for all the entrepreneurs out there, you have to also think a little bit, you know, creatively how you can create strategic partnerships to get your name out there, you know. And this is one of them. And I encourage you all to definitely reach out to Nawid. I mean, Nawid, I'm really excited to work with you and
Same
figure
here.
out how we can collectively be of service to the entire Persian community through comedy, through events. For example, I'm going to give the entrepreneurs here an example of how I'm going to be working with Nawid. I'm hosting the Modern Talking Tour, which for the younger crowd of Persians, they might not know, but there are definitely Persians in their 30s and 40s here that they know Modern Talking, and I've hosted their concert, their US and Canada tour the last 5 years. So we're doing the US tour in August, and I'm like, well, Nawid has a target audience of 25 to 40. That means a lot of people are watching, are fans of Modern Talking that are on his page. So we're going to start figuring out how to do some nice promotional material. So these are the kind of ways that I'm thinking creatively. And then in turn, I'm going to do whatever I can to support the hell out of Nawid and Persian Memes Official. And so that's what it's all about, man. So Nawid, before I let you go, for all the other creators over here that may have a few hundred followers that are trying to build any type of Instagram page, what recommendation do you have if they have a business or a brand that they want to grow their social media page?
I think because during those 8 years, I was able to see a lot of influencers come and, you know, rise up and just now have 5 times more followers than I have. I think the main thing is just staying true to yourself and the vision that you stand for. And yeah, not being afraid to put yourself out there. You know, there will definitely be people that, you know, might have negative comments or whatever. As long as you go in without an ego and just do whatever it is that you love the most and come from a place of love, I think you will definitely gain the success that you need or want. So yeah, I think that
Yeah,
will be
and I'm sure, I mean, sometimes if you get on Instagram in 2014, you get some perks of kind of picking up followers a little bit quicker. But I think patience is one thing that everybody has to keep in mind, that when you're growing a brand or a page, you know, it's going to take a while. But if you keep on kind of putting in the hard work and putting out content that is of value to people and whatever it is, you know, just think about how you can help people. In Navid's case, he wants to help people by making them laugh. How is he making people laugh? By creating things that us Persians can relate to, that our moms and our dads and our grandparents do at mehmunis, you know, that we as immigrants do, you know, and so that's why we relate to it. That's why it's funny. So he's helping us laugh. You might be helping people in other ways. So just figure out how you can help people, and so long as you help people, you're always going to have a following that's growing. So that's great, man. Any closing words for you, Navi John?
No, just to follow up what you said. I mean, a prime example of what you mentioned is Nima Nazari.
Yeah.
You guys obviously know him.
Yeah.
I've been obviously following him. I've been posting his videos years back, and he went from, I don't know, his YouTube follower count didn't grow for I think 7 years or something, and within 1 year he got to 100,000, and that's just a consistency of just not giving up and just going.
Yeah.
And you know, that just that just shows, you know, how
Gary V definitely helped him too by resharing some of his
yeah.
incredible impressions of Gary V.
Oh man, so good,
And
so good.
because I had Nemo on the Awesome People podcast. He's such a cool dude, nice dude, good intention, very humble, and I just love how he's been able to diversify too, where he's not
Yeah,
just sticking to Persian, but he'll definitely sprinkle a lot of Persian to keep his Persian fans, active. And P Bunny Payam does also an
yeah,
incredible job too.
yeah.
Navijan, I'm gonna address this one lovely individual, Mahdia. She's asking, why aren't you speaking Farsi? Okay, I have my reasons. Would you like to answer the question, or should I answer it?
Um, go for it, go for it.
I'll explain it because I set the precedent. Because the thing is, so Matthew John, and I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. The reason why I speak English is, first of all, I never was born in Iran. I didn't live in Iran. I was born in Germany, raised in America, and I feel like there's so much content. There's so many Instagram pages. There's so many YouTube channels. There's so many TV stations, satellite stations, that if you want to listen to Persian interviews and full Farsi with people inside of Iran, there's limitless. But then there's people like me and Navid and a lot of people in this commentary right here that they never had the great privilege of living in Iran and experiencing being Persian. And they've gotten accustomed to living in whatever country outside of Iran, but they want to connect with fellow Persians. And it's a lot easier for us to be able to connect with each other because we literally speak the same language, And so that's why, it's not meant to be disrespectful to our culture or nationality. It's the fact that this is how the world, created our life, and we're here for whatever reasons. And we are trying to connect with fellow Persians, and a common denominator is English speaking. And like, I'm proud to have an English speaking podcast that I interview fellow Persians, and it's exclusively Persians because I want that to be the common denominator. So that answers that question for our guests tuning in.
Thank you.
Well, Navijan, my friend, our 30 minutes has come to a close. I greatly appreciate you sharing your personal journey, your professional journey, and I see some great things in the future of Persian Memes Official. And on behalf of the thousands of Persians who you make laugh, thank you so much for spending those long hours, late nights, and creative juices to be able to give us some joy in a life, in a world that has a lot of downtime. And so you're able to lift people up with your intelligence and your creativity, and appreciate you. And we're going to rock on together, man. We're going to unite and conquer.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot so much. Thanks so much, Iman, for having me and the kind words. And no, this was my first and definitely not the last. I'm very much looking forward to it, and obviously to our collaboration together as well. So
For sure.
On to a lot more.
For sure. I'm glad Mahdi John understood too. Appreciate you and appreciate you watching. Say hi to your lovely ladies in your life, Navijan. Much love, and I'll see you soon. To everybody else, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks.
A big shout out to Navid. Navid, you can go ahead and sign off, brother. I want to take a moment to just thank everybody that joined in, logged in, they commented. Appreciate the engagement. Feel free to follow me for more content. I have a podcast called the Awesome People Podcast. You can click the link in the bio. I had Mona Vand as my guest just last week. I've had the privilege of having some great, authentic, deep conversations with some of the most influential Persians in the world. And I hope to have more conversations about mental health, more conversations about helping fellow Persian entrepreneurs, more conversations about uniting the Persian community, more conversations about upcoming events and concerts. Again, if you're a fan of Modern Talking, in August, I get to travel once again and do the U.S. tour. We'll be in New Jersey, in New York, in Houston, in San Jose, in L.A. for 2 nights. Click the link in my bio and you'll have more information. Please take care of yourself. Be kind to each other. Love life. Enjoy life. Be grateful. Stay healthy. For 44 days, I've been doing a 1-hour workout. It's been incredible for the mind, body, and soul. Drinking more water, less alcohol, reading more books. I recommend the book Atomic Habits, and I recommend Ikigai. Ikigai is an incredible book that I think that you guys should also look. It's a short read. It's basically all about this one place in Japan where it's called the Blue Zone, where they have like the longest the aging people in the world. So the oldest living people in the world live in this one part of Japan. And it talks about, all the reasons of why they do. And there's a lot about meditation, yoga, kindness, community, sense of belonging, and of course, working out and gardening. And so, please do yourself a favor and invest in yourself, invest in personal development, invest in authentic relationship with people, get rid of people that are bringing you negativity, toxicity, that are not believing in what you are passionate about. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I promise you that much. You just have to work really hard at it. You have to believe in yourself before you want other people to believe in you. And I'm rooting for you. And I can't wait to see you all kick ass. Share with me whatever you guys are doing. That's amazing. And hopefully I'll have the pleasure of having you on the next episode of Awesome People, whether it's the IG Live series or the podcast. Wishing you guys love and health. Peace. Bye.